Hi everybody, I'm Taylor and I decided to make this video in order to inform everyone a little bit about the harmful effects that media has on body image. To get started, I want to discuss a little bit about what I mean by media. Just saying media is a little bit broad. When I'm talking about the media, I'm referencing the types of media that we're exposed to every single day. So things like magazines and TV shows, movies, internet, YouTube, social media, which is huge. You got Facebook, Twitter, Vine, Instagram, so many of them out there. And in our society, especially myself and other women, we spend hours and hours a day exposing ourselves to these types of media, and we're completely unaware that it's contributing to a negative body image, some of the negative thoughts that we think about ourselves every single day. So what do I mean by this? I mean, you're probably thinking, I read magazines to read about celebrities and topics that I'm interested in, and I watch the Kardashians because they're hilarious and intriguing to watch. But what we don't realize is that exposure to these media sources is slowly putting images in our heads of what we think that we need to become, what we need to strive for, which isn't really true. For example, I used to read Cosmo when I went to the pool, like many other people do. And I'd constantly flip through the pages and admire all the beautiful people, their tan, skinny girls, their long, curly, blown out hair. And I think, wow, why don't I look like that? I'm super pale. I don't have this blemish-free, ageless skin that they do in this photo. And a statistic I want to point out from the book Body Image by Linda Smolak here says 70% of adolescent girls report that magazine images influence their conception of the perfect body shape. Same thing goes for TV shows. I grew up watching Friends, TV show, and I'd beat myself up like, why don't I look like Jennifer Aniston? Why? I want to so bad. Why can't I have her hair? Why can't I have her tan, her freckleless skin? This goes for any ad, any social media. What we want, the media is putting out someone we think is perfect and we wish that we look like them. We see that we don't, and we probably never will. In my case, I'm never going to have the freckless skin that Jennifer Aniston does. I won't have that glow. But, we see these things, and we instantly feel negative about ourselves. And then we begin to generate these thoughts like, I'm not pretty, I'm not going to be thin, all these different things, all these negative thoughts in our heads. And these thoughts are what are implanted into our heads by the media, and they're called causal risk factors. These causal risk factors are factors that over time, with enough prevalence, can contribute to things like eating disorders and severe body dissatisfaction. It's really serious. It goes for children, adolescents, and adults, everybody. Studies have shown that television is more influential for children, whereas adults and young adults, it's magazines, like reading magazines. It just gets in your head, and the media portrays these body ideals of like skinny, young, tall, white girls with double Ds. And the same thing goes for media that with men. They put out these body ideals of muscular and lean men in their ads and casting roles and dressing them up and like making them look so flawless. And it's also been found that the amount of time adolescent girls spend viewing appearance-focused media has a positive correlation with body dissatisfaction. Just huge. Their drive for thinness, and internalization of the thin ideal, like things that we want to be. We think that we need to be that thin. And when I'm talking about that, personally, one of our biggest media causal factors towards internalization of negative thoughts on body image is social media. I think for me personally, that's the biggest one, Facebook and Instagram in particular. I used to wake up every morning and look at Facebook and all the cool things my friends were doing and how much fun it looked like they were having. And I'd go on Instagram where I follow a lot of like motivational pages. They're constantly showing like female fitness models and their perfect physique and thin waists, and I wanted that. And meanwhile I'm looking at all these things and I'm sitting on the couch, no makeup, haven't even brushed my hair or teeth yet, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I look nothing like that. But that's unrealistic. You're not going to look like that. So for me, this was a huge red flag when I noticed that I was paying attention to these things, and I realized that some of these social media postings were making me feel less confident about myself when I spent time looking at them. A couple of months ago, I was listening to a podcast, and it pointed out how we tend to forget the extremes that they go to in order to make these people look perfect for the camera. And then we begin to realize, that Cosmo girl in the magazine, her blemishes have been photoshopped out of the picture. Her waist has been brought in 4 to 6 inches. Her butt's been blown out to look huge. Like, we realize that Jennifer Aniston has hours and hours of professionals putting makeup on her face, doing her hair, making her look fabulous. We don't do that every day. We see that all these female models on Instagram are, turning to the side and sucking out their waist and making their butt look way bigger than it actually is. But it's the picture and it's the lighting and it's the filtering of the photos. All these things that, make them look better. And all these things that are making them look flawless aren't real. And that's things that we need to think about. And for women, for some reason, we're exposing ourselves to these types of media and we seem to forget that. And, I'm not saying we need to cut media out of our lives completely and live in a shell and throw our TVs out the window. No, like, that's ridiculous. We still have social media, we still have everything, but we should limit the time that we spend viewing the media and, be conscious of what we're reading, what we're seeing, and just, keep in our heads that these people aren't really real. These have been modified to look perfect and to make us want to buy something. It's an ad. Everything in media is some sort of ad. There's like times you want to look at media. So basically, if I'm having a bad day or feeling down, I'm not going to go look at media because I know that I'm going to see all these perfect models and everything's great and I'm feeling fat or whatever it is. It's not a good time to be looking at that for me. It's going to bring me down. But if I'm, I just got back from the gym, I'm feeling great, whatever, in a great mood, something good has happened to me, I'm having a good day, I don't mind looking at those things. They don't bring me down. They actually motivate me. They make me feel better. So just knowing yourself and knowing when to look at these things and, when you should watch TV, when you should be on social media, when it'll be the right time for you to do that, to where it's not going to get to you and make you think negative thoughts is huge.